YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back with some updated NFL power rankings, kind of towards the later part of the NFL offseason. We're past free agency, past the draft, of course. So I got my updated power rankings as we approach my season predictions. To be clear, this is kind of looking towards the regular season for 2021. It's not really playoff predictions at all. Playoff predictions, my number one isn't my Super Bowl prediction. We'll get to those predictions, of course. And the NFL's in a pretty good state. Doesn't really feel like there's any real bad teams, no free wins, unlike last year. I thought that was the case. The teams I had at the bottom end up being pretty accurate. All good teams this year, but somebody's got to be towards the bottom. So everyone's, going to think I'm too low on their team. Obviously, it's just how it goes. We're used to it here. Follow our Twitter for constant updates on the channel and for the NFL. Got some polls coming out, keeping you guys involved. You guys get a say in upcoming videos, the content, what's in the videos. Check that out. Make sure you like, subscribe, full NFL coverage. We do these power rankings every single week throughout the year. Cannot wait till the NFL season starts. Here's our Twitter, just constantly updating NFL news, talking about Morgan Moses landing spots after he was cut. So very important news on here. Link pinned in the comments and description at Good House NFL. Make sure you check it out. The power rankings, number 32. I have the Texans right now, and it's tough because if Deshaun Watson plays, they very well, could be better just because of one player than the 32nd ranked team. They did add a lot of players. We'll see if there's an adjustment period, but it's a lot of one-year deals, guys that would likely be backups on, other teams. But, if they got Deshaun Watson, they're a pretty good team. You can't forget about, Brandon Cooks. They got some good pieces like that. Honestly, the offensive line, it feels like I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, but the offensive line seems like one of the better units on the team on paper right now. I don't know if that's really good or bad. Overall, good. It's improving. A big adjustment on defense. It was a 3-4 defense before. Now it's going to be a 4-3. They're trying to find different guys that fit that. There's some holes throughout the team there. But, again, if Deshaun Watson plays, he's one of the best players in the whole NFL. That could definitely change things. But, again, I don't think there's any free wins. If Deshaun Watson's not playing, the Texans are, it's pretty close. But, some of these teams at the bottom I think could compete. They can be sneaky. 31's the Lions. I love their draft. I love their offensive line. It looks like one of the best offensive line in football. I think they're heading in the right direction. Again, I think Jared Goff could play very well behind that offensive line. You kind of go back to and I'm not saying the Lions are going to the Super Bowl at all, but obviously I haven't met 31, but you go back to when the Rams made the Super Bowl, the Rams offensive line was top tier. Jared Goff was playing he was playing very well, I thought, so he's protected again. If they actually had a legit number one receiver or just better receivers, that alone, kind of that one piece or two pieces there would boost them way up for me because you got Jared Goff protected, but does he have the weapons that he had in LA? I do like the running back group. Running back group looks real good. Defense, I think an adjustment period, but they do got some good ball players there. I do think they're heading in the right direction, but yeah, I think it's kind of a big adjustment period, maybe growing pains for the Detroit Lions, but I really love their draft, so they're heading in the right direction. 30, this team's heading in the right direction too, but I still got them towards the bottom here in the New York Jets. I think they can be sneaky. I think they can make some noise in the AFC East. I had them at this time last year. I had them second to last. I feel like they're a lot better than last year, but other teams also got a lot better, so you can't really focus on the one team there. But looking at this team, they do still have some holes. You can't expect. I like Zach Wilson. You can't expect him to be excellent right off the bat. Are they going to have a strong running game? Probably not. I like the receiver unit. Offense line's getting better, but it's still going to have some struggles, I think. It's definitely better and getting better, but it's going to have its struggles. I think we expect the defense to be much better just because of the coaches, and I think that's kind of accurate that it could be better. I'm excited for a guy like Quinnen Williams for sure. He's going to be an absolute stud. Carl Lawson could be solid, but there's still some holes throughout that defense. I do like the safety group, but the cornerback group can hurt them. Maybe the lack of pass rush. Carl Lawson's still a developing guy. So lack of pass rush would be outside him and Quinnen Williams, off the edge. Another team with the growing pains perhaps, but they can pull off some wins. It's not a free win at all. Last year I kind of consider them a free win. People argue me about it. They end up kind of feeling like that type of team, but I do think they're on the right track. They're definitely a sneaky team. It's just evaluating these rosters. Everybody got better. The Jets do feel a good amount better than last year. I don't have them too much higher than they were last year, but it's mainly because other teams are just looking that good. I was back and forth on the Jets and the Bengals. I ended up putting the Bengals 29. Why? Difference in quarterback play, maybe a little bit of a difference. I do like Zach Wilson, but Joe Burrow to me is better. They're both essentially prospects. Joe Burrow, if he's okay after his injury, is better. I also think they get the running game going with Joe Mixon. They also have a tremendous receiver unit there with that trio, maybe one of the best in football. Look at defense. I think we expect the Jets defense to be better just because Robert Saleh is coaching it, but the Bengals actually a little bit more of a complete defense, even though the Jets can be more of an impact defense. So there's some small things splitting them up that kind of, I was kind of back and forth on it, but those things that I'm explaining definitely side towards the Bengals a little bit. And again, the Bengals could be sneaky. This could be a high-powered offense. First, if the offensive line plays much better, that can really change things. I think it'll be better, but much better. Maybe a little bit of a stretch. But I do think they'll get the run game going. The passing game should be somewhat high-powered with that receiver unit. But again, it kind of comes back to the offensive line. Defense is really not giant holes, but they are, they lost some guys, some changes there. So that could be on the weaker side, I suppose, not really a weak defense, but compared to the rest of the NFL there. But maybe just another one, a lot of these teams towards the bottom, just maybe some just adjustments and growing pains still as they're pretty young. But that's a sneaky team. It's just tough to rank teams towards the bottom. I think every NFL team's good. There's just so much talent in the NFL. We are in a good state here, a good era. I got the Jags at 28, pretty similar to the other teams. I think it could be a high-powered offense. Trevor Lawrence, that running back group, the receivers look good. The offensive line isn't great, but it's pretty solid. It's pretty balanced across the board. I think the game changer here is it's really the game plan. Team defenses aren't really going to know how to game plan for this offense. What kind of system they run. It's like a multiple offense there. Just love it. That's going to be a problem. I worry about the defense. I really do worry about the defense right off the bat. They're probably heading in the right direction, but a lot of young players. There's really no firm. They don't really have a set scheme. They kind of got some guys that fit this scheme, and they're kind of missing guys to fit that scheme, but then they have, and then opposite, so it's kind of a problem, for them. It's banking on Josh Allen and Clavon Chase on getting going. If they're getting some crazy pressure, that's going to make the whole rest of the defense look good. Obviously, they filled some holes, but, with stellar players, not really there. But they got some young players that will step up. I just worry about the defense. I think they'll make flashy plays here and there, but I think they're going to have to win in a shootout pretty much every week. And they can because that offense is scary. It's a game plan nightmare, but it's a lot to ask for a new coach and a young offense. Again, another one of those sneaky teams. I don't want to play the Jaguars in the first half of the season, early on in the season, because you really got no identity on them, It's probably going to be a shootout with them every week, and that's a pretty good team towards the bottom here. 27, I'm going to go Eagles. Again, I keep saying the Eagles could be sneaky because I think people will kind of put them towards the bottom, maybe a little lower than me. They are kind of towards the bottom, but we don't really know what to expect from Hurts. It's really on him. Offensive line looks good right now. Just got to stay healthy. Receiver unit definitely looks much improved. Running back unit's looking pretty good. Again, it just goes back to the offensive line staying healthy and Hurts kind of progressing. Right when he came in, he actually impressed. Then the passing game kind of went back to what was expected after I think teams started to be able to game plan, understand what the changes there going against that. So which side of things are going to be on defense? That front four is one of maybe the very best in football, combining the starters and the rotation. Pass rush can win ball games alone, and they can do that. That's the front four. The rest of the group, they got pieces like Darius Slay, like Anthony Harris, but it's definitely on the weaker side of things. They're relying on their pass rush in general, but again, you don't want to play that pass rush. It can beat you, on any given Sunday there. It really can stop you there. Number 26, I'm going to go Panthers. It's tough, too, because another team, I really like their front four. Their front four is looking really good. Brian Burns is on the verge of being a top-tier sack leader in the NFL. And you throw in, Derek Brown. They added Hassan Reddick. All these other pieces that they have. Fantastic. J.C. Horn, Jeremy Chin. I keep talking about it. I kind of wonder what they're going to do because they ran more cover 3 than anyone last year. And in a cover 3 scheme, it seems to feature that linebacker safety hybrid, and that's kind of what it's that's the centerpiece there, the playmaker. That was Jeremy Chin. He had some playmaking moments, fantastic. J.C. Horn fits more of man. Sounds like the way they're talking, they're going to go more towards man. Jeremy Chin could end up being more reps at strictly safety, could take away from the playmaking. Who knows, So I kind of wonder if there's going to be an adjustment period there. There's going to be some growing pains from that defense. Not really the front four. I love the front four. Offensively, they have weapons. They definitely have weapons. The offensive line is definitely on the weaker side. I'm also not a big Sam Darnold guy. Sure, he can get better, but he's going to have to get a lot better. He's going to have to get a lot better for them to, for him to, lead his team to where they want to be, And it didn't really seem to work well at Teddy last year, so I'm not really expecting, this transformation from Sam Darnold right away. At least maybe something happens down the line, but. So I wouldn't expect too much, but he does have the playmakers, but he doesn't have the offensive line really. But again, the offensive line did play better. The quarterback play was underwhelming. I kind of, you can blame Bridgewater, you can blame the coaching. I wasn't thrilled with the coaching staff. I liked the coaching staff on paper, but the way they called games last year, I was not thrilled with. I didn't think they put themselves in the best position, but they coached up the offensive line well because on paper, wasn't looking too good. It played better than it looked. Could be the same case this year. I like the way they coached defense last year, but again, could be some adjustments. There's going to be some changes there, so we'll see what happens. There's a lot of teams on this power rankings that we were all hyped on at one point, and we still are. Maybe me. I was guilty of it, kind of getting a little hype, but now I value all the rosters. I've kind of calmed down on some teams. And one of those teams happens to be the New York Giants. It felt like, what they were adding, they got a lot better last year, like the coaching staff, like the defense. And what they were adding this offseason kind of felt like, all right, I'm getting hyped. This team's looking pretty damn good. And I am hyped for them. They're heading in the right direction. But I don't know if a whole lot changes if we really sit down and think about it. They added these great receivers. That's fantastic. But that really wasn't the problem to me. Shepard, when he got the ball in his hands, he played well. Slayton, you can go down the list. Tate, when he played, so they got better there, but was, with obviously with Golladay, who I love, and Kadarius Toney. But is it really going to just go from here to here, the whole offense? Because of that, I'm starting to think it's going to improve it a little bit, but not a whole bunch. The problem wasn't the receivers. The problem was the quarterback play and the offensive line play. And, of course, Daniel Jones can get better. And, man, the first game he stepped on the field, first week against the Steelers, the first half, Daniel Jones was impressing me. So, and then he kind of, forced an interception there in the red zone, what ultimately changed the game or got them out of the game. That's just one specific play. But we need to see that good Daniel Jones. Can we see that full time? Not a lot of trust there. I trust that he can play. I trust that he can play better. But how much better? Going to be a lot better. Offensive line, they're banking on development. I don't really like that. I like where Andrew Thomas where he's gonna be heading. He's not gonna play perfect yet, or maybe ever, but I like where he's heading. I like Will Hernandez. It's about it, really. Too much trust in guys like Matt Pert and. Is Solder going to play left tackle? Andrew Thomas going to play right? I think I like the offensive line a little better if that's the case. I just don't think they're going to do that. But we'll see. So the problems are still there. Defense played pretty well last year, better than expected. They love the secondary. I don't know if it's much different, though. The secondary is looking good. I love Leonard Williams. Love Dexter Lawrence. I think he's going to be an absolute star. I know they lost Dalvin Tomlinson. I don't know if it's a good player, but I think they can replace that. Their 4-man linebacker unit, that's where it's a little bit on the weaker side. I think the defense pretty much stayed the same. What really changed here, I guess the secondary is looking great on paper. The receivers are looking great on paper, but it doesn't actually feel like when you sit down and think about it, there's a whole lot changed. It doesn't really feel like it. You think by the players they brought in, it looks like it, but we're going to have to see it happen here. And they could be sneaky. It's a pretty good roster. They upset some teams last year. NFC East, it kind of feels like to people it's wide open, so we'll see. I got the Steelers at 24. I'm not really in love with where their roster's at right now. You look at them, the first 12 games last year, they looked like the best team in football. In the second half of the year, even in the playoffs, it didn't even feel like they were a playoff team, even close to it. So which Steelers team are we going to get? Which one are we going to get? The most recent one? But then, so I'm thinking about that. Then you factor in, look at the roster. The roster isn't even as good as it was last year. So on top of which Steelers team from last year we're going to get, I don't know. On paper, it always doesn't the result always isn't what it is on paper, and I also think they have a very tough schedule, but yeah, it doesn't, the offensive line isn't, they're better at running back and Najee Harris, but will it matter, with that offensive line? Will the weapons even come into play? Where will Big Ben be playing? He was struggling to get things going downfield consistently last year as well. Defense, no Bud Dupree. The cornerback, Hayden's declining. The opposite side, no more Steven Nelson. And the defense will still be good. Mike Tomlin's defense will still be very good, but they were kind of, while they were on that 12-game stretch, they had the very best defense in football. And to me, it ended up being the Rams because, what happened late season. But they had the most dominant, elite defense in the first 12 games of football last year, and that was the reason they were that good. So they are relying, especially with the offense being worse on paper now, the defense is too, they're relying on the defense to be that good. I don't know if it could be elite. Elite's, I'm not just tossing that word around, so it's tough. The Steelers are in a tough spot for this offseason. They do have a lot of cap going forward, though, so they can turn things around and actually make it better. 23, I'm going to go the Falcons. I was kind of getting hyped in the Falcons a little bit, thinking they can, it's tough to catch the Bucs, but thinking they can finish second in the division. But, I was kind of predicting what they would do, the rest of the offseason at that point. And I know they didn't really have much room to work with, so I can't say I'm disappointed on them. Not really. I mean, they had a pretty solid draft. They added some players. Kyle Pitts is going to be a force. Arthur Smith's offense, that's going to be fantastic. I wish they were a little stronger at running back. They may trade Julio. It really sounds like they will. So they bring in Kyle Pitts, no Julio. Though we'll see what happens. We can make another power rankings before the season starts. But defense is definitely still on the weaker side. But again, I think every NFL team's good. There's no free wins, so I think this team could be good. This offense could be dangerous. I'm just kind of relaxing a little bit. Maybe I was getting a little too hyped at one point. For a team like that. There's quite a few teams that fall into that category for me. 22 is the Raiders. The Raiders are a pretty complete, balanced team. It's just one of those tough teams to trust, in crunch time, second half of the year. It seems like the same story all the time for them. Injuries played a part in the past. Not really last year, though. They just kind of disappointed. I think the defense will be better. On paper, you add Ngakoue. The interior looks better. Guys like Jefferson, Solomon Thomas, They had Casey Hayward back there. They had Trevon Marek. I don't know if you can expect a lot from the rookie safety because, again, he did play over 300 snaps at slot corner last year. People forget that. It's something that people forget, that he played over 300 snaps at slot corner, and then he played 150 or so snaps at strong safety, and he played 140 or so snaps in that range at free safety. He's going to be a true free safety for them, so there's going to be some adjustments to be made. Defense a lot better. I think the coaching with Gus Bradley a lot better. Better coverages to fit their cornerbacks, like Trayvon Mullen, Damon Arnett, if he sees the field much with Casey Hayward in there. Casey Hayward fits it, of course. So defense will be better. Offense, I think around the same. I need to see more consistency out of Derek Carr. It's a balanced team that improved on defense that can be a lot better in this. It's just, and they're a good team. There's just a lot of good teams. A lot of teams got even better, improved even further, so it's tough, It's one of those teams that got to prove it to us, 21, I'm going to go to the Bears. Bears are tough, too, because I think they're going to go Andy Dalton. I really, every time you hear something, I already got the feeling anyways, it feels like they're going Andy Dalton. I like them better with Justin Fields. Of course, you don't want too much expectations on Justin Fields. You don't want to expect too much because there's going to be some growing pains there probably. The Bears' offense has been a letdown, not only quarterback-wise, but coaching staff-wise as well, play-calling-wise. So, even if I do like them better with Justin Fields, but if they do go to him, you can't expect too much from him. But I do like where the weapons are at for the Bears. They're looking pretty good. I like Darnell Mooney. Allen Robinson was playing the slot a little more last year, so he's got a little more versatility to him. Offensive line, I love the interior. I think the tackle play could be a little on the weaker side, so that's something maybe a positive, I guess, holding Fields out. But I still would play him. Play him week one or sit him. If you don't start him week one, I just sit him for the year then at that point. But defensively, it definitely feels like they're declining, but I still think they're probably, I don't know about one of the better, but still a top 10 defense, and you really got to sit down and think about that. They were giving up some points last year, and you lose Fuller. That's pretty tough. I felt like Fuller was getting better. I don't know. So that's a little tough. How they use their safeties, that's kind of a question mark. I kind of want them to go Eddie Jackson full-time free safety. We'll see if they continue on with him. A lot of split safety action. because he was playing better a few years ago when he was at Freeze. So there's a lot of questions with the defense there. Will Robert Quinn step up? It just doesn't feel like that elite defense that was a couple years ago. But the offense is definitely on the right track. But how much better will it be if Andy Dalton's in there? That's kind of the question there. So definitely a tough team to rank here. If they come out and say Justin Fields is a starter, I would like for them to add a guy like Morgan Moses for right tackle. Two decisions like that would boost them big time for me. So it's one of those teams that's kind of on the brink of maybe competing for the NFC North, actually. Number 20, I'm going to go the Saints. It's tough ranking the Saints down here. It's another team. I just talked about the Bears. If they made a couple different decisions, signing here, whatever, I boost them up. The Saints are kind of that ultimate team. I don't know what you can do at this point about the receiver position, but they are I'm going to say a receiver one away because I believe you can use two, but we'll just say a good receiver two that downfield away from rocket, soaring up for me. Because what this team did, they had to make a lot of cuts. The roster is, it's not bad at all, but it's worse than it was because the cuts they made. I was really excited about a Jameis Winston Saints team, really excited about that. Because the idea of that is more production, more downfield action from the Saints compared to what they've been doing. But to get that, you need those receivers. You need those playmakers. And they got a couple playmakers, Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas. They need something downfield. They need something more. That receiver unit might be the worst in football right now. So they're kind of one piece away from me loving the idea of this team. And they pretty much survived on managing the game on offense and having big plays here and there from studs like Kamara and Michael Thomas while winning on defense. Now the defense, I definitely it's well coached. I think it'll be solid still, but on paper it's definitely worse than it was. The interior itself actually looks pretty different there. So it's tough. It's hard to figure out this identity because they want to have more offense with Jameis Winston, and there's no guarantee Winston even starts. I think less of them if it's Hill at quarterback, honestly. It's a very good running team, but it's tough. It's heading in the direction to be a high-powered downfield team without that aspect to it. They didn't really fit. I know it was tough for them because they didn't have the cap space. So it's a really tough team there. They've been so consistently good, and it wouldn't be surprised if they were that good again just because of the Saints. But just actually looking at the roster here and how this team will act on the field, it's tough. 19, I'm going to go Broncos. Very complete roster. Love this defense. They're going to run the crap out of the ball. They're going to jam it down your throats, wear you out. I love that. Big Javonte Williams guy. Can't wait to see him in action. Defense is very solid. I want to like this team more. I want to get hyped in this team more. Just the quarterback play is a big question. Big question. Drew Lock, sure, he can get better, but how much? Enough. Bridgewater, he's got to know as a game manager, but then end up turning the ball over last year. It was a little bit of a mess. So this quarterback play is just really holding this team back for sure. They're going to rely on the run to open up the pass, but will that pass even be able to open up itself? Defense, I really like this defense. They got to stay healthy, though. You see the amount of injuries last year. What has Von Miller got left in the tank? I would imagine he could still be pretty good, but he has the injury concern. Bradley Chubb. I'm almost trying to. I love the defense. I love the completeness of the roster, but I almost, really thinking about it, I might need to calm down on this defense a little bit because even though it's going to be a good defense, there are some question marks there. They did improve the secondary with the corners, but, it's really on the quarterback play. If the quarterback play really picks it up, I can put them much, much higher, but 19 for now. 18, I got the Cardinals. Another team I kind of had to relax on. I think we all kind of got to relax on. They add these big-name guys here and there, and then we're all thinking, wow, but you really sit down and look at what they got going. We need to see Kyler Murray pick it up. He's got to relax in the pocket a little bit, struggle a little bit late last year. Not in love with the offensive line. The left side I like, the right side not really in love with it. They don't really have much of a running game. They got a couple guys that can run, but the running game isn't really. They are a pass first team, but it's they got some solid receivers there, of course, but it's just. They got it. They're relying, to me, on being that high-powered passing offense. That's really hard to do consistently. Consistency, it was a big problem last year overall in this offense, whether it's coaching, play calling, quarterback play, offensive line play, receivers getting separation. Consistency for all of those categories, big problem. I think it'd be less of a problem right in this year, but it's still kind of sticking with me. You look on defense, Chandler Jones is back to add J.J. Watt. Those guys got to stay healthy. That's some good production. What's around them, though? To me, there's not a whole lot around them. The defensive line next to J.J. Watt, definitely on the weaker side. I like Isaiah Simmons. Zaven Collins is he's a guy that's always around the ball as well, but Simmons still making that adjustment. He was getting better. Zaven Collins definitely an adjustment for his role at Tulsa, big-time adjustment. So big-time growing pains there. Secondary feels like Buda Baker. His back's going to be hurting a little bit back there because he's carrying that group big time. So the more you think about it, this is a flashy team. Flashy team. They're going to have flashy plays. I worry about the consistency, but it's a tough team to game plan against. I guess for a team I worry about consistency, I have them pretty high at 18 because I do think there's some major talent across the board there. They have holes, but they got some major talent. So Kingsbury's got to take a big step. His play calling, I know he was kind of in a rough situation last year. They didn't have too much. Kenny Drake was getting going, I guess. They didn't have too much of a run game. Teams just realized they had to just game plan for the pass pretty much. But they could do the same thing this year. That's why it's tough. It's actually a tough gig to play call for that team. It actually is, but we'll see if they make that next step. They made some big signings. 17, I'm going to go the Chargers. Kind of back up on the Chargers, was kind of up on them before free agency, kind of thinking big picture what they can do free agency in the draft. To me, they're a little on the disappointing side of free agency. They did add some pieces to make them better, but I thought they would do a little more, get a little more important position. So I kind of came down on them a little bit then. But then I love their draft, and it kind of completed around the pieces they added in free agency. So that I'm a little bit back up on them. Can't get too crazy here because there are some things they got to get done still. The offensive line, I like where they're heading. I like the pieces they add, but there's no really guarantee. Balaga's got to stay healthy. Slater's a rookie. That left guard's a little bit of a question. Filer is going to start at right guard. They improved there, but a little bit of a question still. They're set at center. Herbert, will he continue where he left off? Another coaching staff. Will the adjustment affect him? Some question marks here. Love Herbert. Love what he did last year. Like the receiver unit. Like the running back group. Do they have that true number one that can carry the ball? They don't really need that. Carry the ball, but let's say 20, 25 times. They don't really need that, though. So I do like the weapons there. In the offense, I expect it to be on the high-powered side there because what Herbert did last year. But, again, some question marks. Leaves you wondering here. Defensively, like Brandon Staley, I think, we expect a guy like Bosa to play well, of course. I think a guy like Kenneth Murray is really going to see a rise in play because of the hiring of Brandon Staley here with his defense. They could use some more there. Cornerbacks got to stay healthy. I like Asante Samuel for this team, but the actual outside linebackers in their 3-4, projected to be Nwosu and Fackrell. That's a little tough there. So, are they relying on Bosa from the end spot and then maybe Murray blitzing to get their pass rush? They're kind of relying on that a little bit, but I do think a good defense overall, well-coached defense. So, but there are some things that kind of pop up that aren't going to show every week, but they'll show some weeks. It's a team that I feel can beat anybody, but can lose to anybody. So maybe we'll see some growing pains, some back and forth inconsistencies a little bit there, but team I'm definitely hyped about for the future. 16, I'm going to go Colts. This is a very tough team because it's really on Carson Wentz. Not a huge Carson Wentz guy, mainly because, it's a very simple why. It's because what he's shown on the field, especially recently there. To me, there's a lot of people that kind of think he can kind of get back to playing to where he once was. It was quite a few years ago and before injuries. And if you're going to go out, if you got a gut feeling, sure. We all got gut feelings for NFL. They work out. Sometimes they don't. But there's really no good logic behind it. It could, trust your gut there, stay confident. It could happen. I definitely think he can play better than when he played with the Eagles because I love this roster and I really love this coaching staff. Frank Reich's a hell of a coach. Love the offensive line as well. It's just tough. It's just tough. I definitely think Wentz plays better than last year. It's just so much pressure on him. He has the offensive line. He's got some weapons. They could have got better there. Defense, I think, it's a pretty balanced defense there. I think we could expect kind of in the middle of what it was last year because early on it looked like the best defense in football, and then later on they were actually giving up a lot more than what we were used to. So it was definitely on the top tier side. Then it wasn't so hot. I think we can kind of get in the middle there somewhere. It's just on Carson Wentz here. I think, again, I'm not a big Carson Wentz guy, and a quarterback will say a lot where you're at in these rankings, but I love the coaching staff. And I do think they got a pretty solid roster, so I did put them at 16 still, but it's one of the toughest teams to rank. Cause I just Carson Wentz. You just can't have too much expectations. My expectations are better than last year. It's not saying much. 15, gonna go to the Dolphins. Love this defense. I liked that what they added. They had kind of more of a true pass rusher in Jalen Phillips. Was a little worried. They moved on from Kyle Van Noy, but they add a true pass rusher there in Jalen Phillips, opposite Emmanuel Ogbah. Christian Wilkins will step up. Linebacker unit, they add McKinney to Jerome Baker. That's fantastic. Secondary is looking strong. They already had maybe the best corner duo up there for sure. Probably them or the Ravens in football. Defense, fantastic. So it's all on Tua here. I think you definitely can't base things from last year at Tua. I think some players you can, some you can't because Tua's still getting better. I think it's gonna be a whole different offense, especially with the receivers, the type of receivers. Will Fuller, Jalen Waddle. It fits more of Tua ball. I worry about the running game. That was a problem. I thought play calling, the lack of receivers. Tua had some bad plays too last year, and the swapping of Fitzpatrick Tua affected things. Those things all affected, but the running game also did. If there's no running game, teams can just play the pass. It's harder to pass in the NFL. So that problem actually could still be there. It still could be valid there that the no running game could affect Tua's play, the offensive play. Offensive line I worry about too. I'm probably heading in the right track. We'll see where they align everyone. Eichenberg right tackle, Hunt move to guard, or keep Hunt at right tackle, Eichenberg move to guard. Different ways they can go there. But I think the offensive line could still struggle a little bit. So no running game, no offensive line. I do think Tua plays better. Receivers looking great. But how much better will the offense be? How much better? Still relying on the defense a little bit, but they got talent. The defense looking real good. One of the better defenses in football possibly. And they got playmakers. So that's why they're in the top 15. 14, I'm going to go Seahawks. They're a tough team to rank because I really don't love the Seahawks roster, to be honest. The roster's really – they got stars here and there. I feel like it's the same story for a lot of these NFC West teams. Cardinals, Seahawks, Rams. Those three teams, it's pretty much the same story. They have Russell Wilson. They have Lockett, Metcalf. They had Eskridge. They're gonna be able to pass the ball pretty well. I like Chris Carson. You guys know I like him. They can run to open up the pass. Got to stay healthy. Carson, that is. Offensive line should be better. I don't know how much better. I don't think much better. I think the guard play, better. That's what I think is better. Everything else, honestly, between tackles and centers, it's either the same or worse. Now, I can't expect a whole lot worse if it is worse. But a big problem was Russell Wilson's play actually second half of the year. I thought it was his. I'd actually blame him at times for some of those sacks. So we're going to get elite Russell Wilson, MVP form Russell Wilson. We're going to get what played second half of the season. Offense and defense, it was impossible to get them on the same page. I think we could see both kind of in the middle of last season. Offense was top tier of the NFL early, looked pretty bad late last year. I don't think we're going to see either of those. Top of the NFL, bottom of the NFL. I don't think the very top or towards the very bottom. I don't think we're going to see any of those. Defense, it looked at the very bottom of the NFL early last year, and it was shutting teams down, consistently late last year. I don't think we're going to see either of those. I think we're going to see kind of in the middle, but maybe more towards that back end of the defense because I worry about the pass rush. The cornerback group really took a hit. So I do worry about that defense. No more Jaron Reed either. The more I talk, I worry about that defense a bit. So they're up here because of the explosive offensive plays they can make because they got some stars on their team. That's really why they're up here. It's a tough team to rank because I really don't love their roster, to be honest. 13, going to go Washington football team. I like them. I think this very well could be the best defense in football. It could be an elite defense. I don't really throw that word out a lot when it comes to entire defenses or offenses. The defense, not only is the defense going to win games alone, even without the offense's help, and we'll kind of get to that. I think the pass rush really alone could win games alone. But then going towards the offense, I think people put the label on them, kind of like last year. They don't have an offense. They're on the defense. They have the defense to be better. They'll win some more games for them. But what about that offense? I think the offense is better than people, say. I am a little surprised they cut Moses. We'll see if it's, Sadiq Charles, Samuel Cosme playing that right tackle spot. I wish they would have kept Moses at least one more year to be quite honest. But offense line isn't bad. It's just really not good. It's not bad or good. It's kind of just average, I suppose. Fitzpatrick, he can play. Antonio Gibson, love his game. He's going to continue to get better. They actually have a pretty good receiver group now. McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, De'Ami Brown, a couple other guys. So they're going to have They're going to have weeks. It's a long season. They're going to have weeks where they put 10 points on the boards. Disappointing, looks like last year. I think they'll have weeks where they look like a pretty damn good offense too, though. So, and that's on top of their defense. Again, their defense will compete. We've seen those teams with elite defenses and poor offenses. And again, I don't think they're going to have poor offenses. They're going to be better than that. Go to the playoffs off that alone. So I do like the Washington football team here. I'm going to go Vikings at 12. I actually really like this roster. Defense seems to be... That's the thing here. The defense seems to be back. It seems like a Mike Zimmer Vikings defense is back. And remember, they finished with the 5th best offense last year. High-powered offense. They improved the offensive line. They got talent, weapons everywhere. And you combine those two things, it feels like a much better than number 12 team. Much better. But I have a hard time kind of trusting all that coming together and being consistent. It looks like there really shouldn't be any reason why they shouldn't be able to come together like that. But I can't put them that high, what the roster and what the talent says. But I do have them pretty high. I have them at 12. I just need to see more consistency. I need to see the offense and defense on the same page there. But they definitely have talent, across the board there. They were depleted with injuries on the defense. So, the Vikings kind of could be back to playing their game, which feels like a playoff team. But can they take that next step, and can they stay consistent here? So I got them at 12. Number 11, I got the Cowboys. Question with them is health. That offense is one of the very best in football if it's healthy. Dak Prescott, got to stay healthy. Tyrone Smith, Leo Collins. Those three guys, they got it. Zach Martin, you can throw in there too. Got to stay healthy. If it's healthy as we sit, again, top tier, maybe an elite offense because they got quarterback play. They got a running game. Zeke's got to play a little better. They got one of the best offensive lines, and look at the receivers, ridiculous there. So then it's on the defense. Definitely in the defense will be, I actually think it'll be a good amount better than last year, but that doesn't mean I think it'll be good. I think they'll still have its problems here and there, but it won't be giving up the amount of points they were giving up last year. So it's just about staying healthy. There's really, I guess my major thing, nothing really says Dak's going to get hurt. Nothing really says Leo Collins, really. Maybe you got like Tyrone Smith is kind of really what you worry about. You just can't kind of get depleted on the offensive side of things like you did last year. And then they're pretty good. It's better than this. They're kind of in the same boat as the Vikings. Cowboys on offense, Vikings on defense. You can't get that depleted again. And they have the ability to be even better in this. Can I fully trust them, though? It's kind of the same situation. I think having that top-tier offense kind of trumps everything else this year, so that'll be the difference between the two. Number 10, at the 49ers, health, big question here. Very complete team. Quarterback play, question there, though, as well. The offense can be dangerous. It relies on the quarterback play, though. I like their weapons, if healthy. I like their offensive line, if healthy. Running back group, if healthy. You kind of can go down the list and say that. I'm not predicting injuries. It's a tough team to fully trust staying healthy, though, just based on the past. Defense, front seven looks great, if healthy. Secondary, I think it's just an average secondary. Cornerback play, maybe could be better for sure. Probably could be better. Very good team if it stays healthy. It's another tough one to rank there. But they got talent, in quarterback play. I guess when you have a question at quarterback play, you must be pretty good if I got you in the top 10, I suppose. And I guess the same thing goes for number 9. I'm probably higher on the Patriots than everyone. I know we're going to have the people in the comments saying, oh, you're just doing this because it's the Patriots. The Patriots, not the same Patriots. Well, if you go back to last year, I did not think the Patriots were any good. People were telling me I was too low on the Patriots. I felt like I was accurate on them. I think this is a damn good roster. People see what they add in free agency, and they go, okay. But what people forget is the opt-outs. They're getting back some key pieces. They have one of the best, maybe the best offensive lines in football. They got a good running game. I'm thinking Mac Jones is going to start. I don't think Mac Jones is going to be anything special. I think he's got a good supporting cast build around him, coaching staff. I think he can go in there and get the job done, and that's good enough there. I'm not talking about Super Bowl. I'm talking about number 9 team of power rankings here. And then look at the defense. This could be another team. It feels like Belichick Patriots defense is back. That's what it feels like. They got pass rush. They added to the interior defensive line. Barmore, Godchaw, guys like that. Hightower is back, a captain in there at the linebacker position. Got some young guys developing around him. Judon at the edge rush position. Secondary, Gilmore's got to stay healthy. We know that I don't have to explain the secondary is good. This is a damn good roster with some pretty damn good talent on it. They got a lot better. Free agency, draft, opt-outs coming back. I hope I like them better with Mac Jones the starter. I don't trust fully Cam Newton. I want them to play both. I want them to use Cam Newton on some creative plays. Don't overdo it. I think the team's set up for the quarterback to succeed, but sometimes Cam just feels like he hasn't fully recovered from that injury. So that's is really nothing to do with the talent around him sometimes, and that's the case. But I really like this roster. Of course, I love the coaching staff. On to the top 8, the Titans. I got some good news and bad news for the Tennessee Titans here. Mainly good. I got them in the top 8. I think this is they're built to be a dominant regular season team. And you kind of can see where I'm going with that, why that's kind of good and bad. I think the problem last year throughout the regular season, and it's funny that we say problem because they had a pretty damn good regular season. They won their division. The problem why they weren't maybe elite regular season team last year was the defense. The defense was really struggling. They had a lot. They just couldn't get pressure on the quarterback. Made the cornerbacks' jobs harder. Cornerbacks had to cover forever. We were wondering why they were playing so far off the ball. It's because you can't press when you know you got to cover forever. It's impossible. Nobody can do it. And they had pass rush. I think Harold Landry's getting better, but they had Bud Dupree, Danico Autry to that group. Jeffrey Simmons is getting better. And they had guys to the secondary as well. So this defense is definitely night and day. It's definitely much better. Is it going to be great? No, we don't think that. But Bud Dupree's a pretty big piece, but it's going to be a lot better. Offense, I know they lost Johnny Smith to Corey Davis. I don't think this makes or breaks this team in the regular season, really. It's a tough team to stop, when you're preparing for team week after week in the regular season. It's very tough to stop Derrick Henry. Nobody really stops him in the regular season. A.J. Brown's getting better. It seems like Tannehill's getting better with this group. Offensive line actually did get better, adding Taylor Lewan, and their situation at right tackle got better. So this, it's pretty much the same offense for the regular season, be dominant. Go to the playoffs. I guess we can't base it off one playoff game last year. But the offense actually seemed to be the problem last year, and it didn't really get any better. Again, the offensive line gets better with Taylor Lewan coming back, but the offense definitely doesn't get any better. And they even lost guys too. I think when it comes to the playoffs, the name of the game of playoffs is game plan, and teams are able to, focus on something, game plan, play like it's their last game because it might be their last game, and they can slow or even stop like the Ravens, slow them down a little bit. So then they're relying on being able to get going, that offense, their game plan going every single week. Well, the defense got better. That helped. But that's why I think there could be a good playoff team. I just feel like they feel like a dominant regular season team, and they could get better to build themselves for the postseason. But this team is built to thrive in the regular season. There's really no reason why they shouldn't, do what they did and some for regular season-wise last year. 7, I'm going to go with the Ravens. Ravens are tricky too because I don't know. Did they get better? Look at the defense. Edge rush it definitely looks like it could be worse. That could be a problem. And the Ravens defense is so fun. It's always good. We're seeing the same defense though. We're seeing the same defense and other good teams starting the game. They were able to stop the Titans, but more of the passing teams are starting to game plan for that. They blitz a lot. You just pick up the blitz. Have your speed beat their corners. It's tough to do because they got very good corners, but eventually, teams like the Chiefs figure it out. So I don't know. The defense might, I think best case, it's about the same. The defensive line's aging, so I think it's going to be about the same around there. Maybe when you say the same, maybe slightly worse. So it's really banking on the offense getting better. I do think the offense can be better. Stanley, hopefully healthy. I know they lost Orlando Brown. But the offensive line overall, I think actually could be a little bit better, not a whole bunch. Running game will be good. Lamar Jackson's dangerous. And they added the receiver group. I guess we can't have too much expectations on some young guys right away. But this is like a guarantee that the Ravens are going to be pretty good. And it's mainly because you start to realize how good Lamar Jackson is then because he's just so tough to stop week-by-week basis for each team. He's just going to bring you a challenge, and their defense is going to be good. It's going to be a solid defense there. But I'm kind of banking on Lamar getting a little more going in the passing game, mainly because of those receivers, and that can make them better. Got them at 7. 6, I got the Rams. Rams do have some holes. Defense on paper definitely looks worse. I'm actually thinking guys, a guy like Terrell Lewis could step up for them. That'll be great. I think, not really worried about losing John Johnson. They got a number of safeties there. You got Jalen Ramsey, you got Aaron Donald. The main loss is Brandon Staley. So how will they be with a different defensive coordinator? Offensively, they'll be more high-powered in the passing game with Stafford, of course, in those weapons. Offensive line I worry about a little bit, but Cam Akers looks like he's getting better as well, so the running game can get going. Their offensive line will definitely look better than what it is on paper, at least for most of the regular season, kind of like it was last year. I do worry about, it's kind of a team that has that star power to win in the playoffs and win a Super Bowl. I just worry about where over time for them it's kind of popped up for Stafford, this offensive line at times. Every single year, it actually feels like. So that's where I kind of worry about them a little bit, but they got some star players there. It's going to be a very good offense and defense at the same time. So we're starting to talk about the big dogs here for the teams. 5, I'm going to go Packers. Relying on Aaron Rodgers being the guy. If Jordan Love's a starter, I actually think it'd be better. I think people would probably drop him towards the bottom because, you lose MVP Aaron Rodgers, what the team's built around. They're definitely going to fall pretty damn far, but they actually, I still think could probably compete for the NFC North, honestly. They wouldn't be my pick to win it, but they could compete. But with this, obviously I have Aaron Rodgers as the quarterback. They're going to have a running game. They're going to have a passing game. Offensive line look a little different. I'm not really too worried about it. Where you start to wonder a little bit, how will it be in the big games? See, back-to-back years, Niners, it struggled against them, struggled against the Bucs. So how will it be? I guess we talked about with Titans, the Rams, how will they be in the playoffs in this unit here and there? Same thing with the Packers there, but they have been a good team in the playoffs. They made an NFC Championship back-to-back. It's going to be a high-powered offense. We'll see how the defensive changes are. They do still have some holes here and there, but love the secondary, love the actual edge rush. It's a very good team, in top 5 for me. Just we got to see where Aaron Rodgers is at here. On the top 4, I got the Cleveland Browns at 4. It's a damn good roster, and they got talent everywhere. I think Baker's getting better. I think that, they have the running game first, the dominant running game, the dominant offensive line to open up the pass as well. And they got the big-time receivers, tight ends. They got that. Defense that gets better. That secondary is actually going from not really worse to first, but I think you get the idea that it's kind of in that direction. Very good. The linebacker unit gets better. Myles Garrett, hopefully full time this year, makes the defense better as well. Clowney, hopefully healthy, but it's just a damn good roster. They wear you out. They protect the quarterback. They can run. They can throw. They can stop you on defense. They're playmakers. They get their hands the ball. They kind of check every box there. There's the Browns. So people are a little hesitant to put them up here, but it's a damn good roster. I still wish they didn't get rid of Sheldon Richardson. That's kind of like the one piece they need there in the interior. But it's a very good team here. Top 3, I got the Bills at 3. Josh Allen, could he continue to grow? Him and Stephon Diggs. Diggs actually getting better and better. Offensive line to keep together. They got to get a little bit of a running game going, but it's a dangerous offense here, obviously. Defense is a very complete defense. They add edge rushers. Love that. And the defense is better because they add edge rushers. Can we expect a whole lot from the young group of Russo, Epinesa, who they drafted last year, and then Basham, another guy from this year? Can't expect a whole lot, but you kind of throw those guys that they'll play well, and one of them's got to go off on top of Ed Oliver's development. I think they're getting better there. I think Tremaine Edmonds is only getting better as well. He's a very young, raw talent coming out, and he's already been very good. They're very good on offense. They're very good on defense. I expect a little more from their defense last year, but they were still good, and they were showing up in the playoffs. It's a very good team. 1 and 2 could flip them around. I end up going Chiefs 2, Bucks 1, defending Super Bowl champs. They kept the group together, developing more chemistry. Again, this isn't my Super Bowl prediction. It's tough to go back to back, but they very well could do it because, again, they got the ridiculous roster, and they're still developing chemistry there. They were only getting better, late season playoffs last year. Chiefs, their offensive line got healthy compared to the Super Bowl, but then it got better as well. Ridiculous. Honestly, the weapons at the receiver position, you got Hill and you got Kelsey. You got some other guys who could play, don't get me wrong. Hardman could step up. Powell will probably be solid, but they actually could, if they had another piece in there, top tier guy, consistent guy, they'd lock them in then, I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire gets going. The running game gets going. Patrick Mahomes recovered from the injury. I think he'll be fine. He's the best player in football, in my opinion. Defense Could use another edge rusher. They're about to get unique using Chris Jones at the DM position a little bit. Jaron Reed, they add, don't forget that, for the inside with Noddy. We're going to see different looks there. I like that, but it still stays as kind of their 4-3 defense. Young guys, across the back part of the defense there. So they could be a little inconsistent back there, but I like their group. I like their group a lot. So same two teams at the top there, and the Chiefs definitely could take that spot. I just didn't really have a reason to move the Buccaneers down, because we know they were sitting at 1. I just didn't have a reason to move them down here with these power rankings, how I do the power rankings at least. So, let me know your guys' thoughts, your guys' rankings. I'm sure we'll have people saying I'm too low on their team. That's just what it is. I just have my reasons for just how their rosters look, how they look as a team. That's really all you can base it on right now. So we'll have this covered fully throughout the rest of the offseason here. And with my predictions, record predictions, all of that, can't wait. And then in-season predictions as well, week by week, covering every single game all year long. So hopefully you join us for that. Smash the like button, subscribe. Follow us on Twitter. That's going to do it for this one. Goodbye.